Inconsistent.
You definitely have ADHD now. I don't know if you ever got like tested and shit.
I did when I was a kid. They used to give me medication. Took it once. Actually, I took it more than once, but I took the whole pill once. Did not like it. And then somebody was like, bite the pill in half. Bit it in half. Still didn't like it. Never took it again. And then my grandmother was like, I gotta take it. And I was like, it makes me sick. And she was like, okay. And that was it.
Over.
Went to doctors, therapists, all this shit just to get pills, just for me to be like, I don't like it. And she's like, okay. So here I am. I can't stop moving.
The minute you said that, I was like, he needs that pill, yo. He needs the whole pill. That's hilarious. So we got the war, right?
Why gonna take pills for? We're about to have World War III.
Why go to work? World War III is not what's going on.
Well, some people believe that.
Because in order for it to be a World War III, doesn't it have to involve more than, I don't know how many countries are involved. 2? 3? Well, technically 3 are, right?
Yeah, technically 3, yeah.
The State of Israel, State of America. State of America.
It's the State of America. But some, people are like, well, China and Russia are helping them on the low. And it's like, how's that different than what's going on in freaking Russia and Ukraine? How's that any different from that?
Right, so
China's helping Russia. We're helping Ukraine. The whole freaking world is helping Ukraine.
So we're like indirectly fighting each other.
It's like
and said we,
we're
the
like
major ones.
We're having a Cold War.
That's what the Cold War was?
That's what it was, yeah. We're basically having a Cold War.
The Cold War was against who?
It's
this is a test. We're doing
against
pop quiz.
The Soviet Union.
Gorbachev tear down that wall.
Yeah, Nikolai Gorbachev.
Nikolai.
So it was.
I gotta say, I love those names.
So we don't fight each other. We fight each other's people.
Let me send you my boy to go you up.
Yeah, we got South Korea. You got North Korea.
Right.
We got the Vietnamese. You got the Viet Cong. You know what I'm saying?
Oof.
What else? There was more wars somewhere.
You heard about the Vietnamese guy? Jesus, I'm struggling over here. I'm struggling today, guys. The Vietnamese soldier general something that stayed in the jungle and he thought the war was still going on.
And he was there for years.
He was there.
And then people came to him yo, the war's over, bro. He's like, I don't believe this.
You're a liar. You're sent as a liar.
And then they had to get to the general. He's retired for 40 years. And he came as an old man. He's like, it's over.
Come here.
Yeah. He's like, are you telling me I spent 40 years eating corn and potatoes?
But he was good with it, no?
What he was doing.
What choice did he have at that point?
He was sneaking into farmers that are in the area and stealing some of their food.
And murdering them.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah. That's crazy, yeah.
Do you think the Iranians are happy? The people, the regular schmegglers?
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, I think so. There's always going to be your division, you know what I'm saying? There's going to be people that love the Ayatollah, and there's people that are like, we don't want to live like this anymore.
But if you had to weigh in, the 60-40, 30-20, 30-20,
I would say the people that support the supreme leader don't understand what the world is really like. Outside of that, they're kind of locked into this hallway thinking.
Like, this is what life is.
Yeah. So an example is like North Koreans. North Koreans love Kim Jong-un. They think he's the best. Until they get out of North Korea. Then they're like, oh, snap. I've been lied to this whole time. The world is way different than what they explained it to me. There's so much more in this world than just this little way of, of being. And I think they're like that. They're kind of locked into this way of thinking. Because everything outside of it is heretics.
Correct.
So, but the other people are like, no, we know what it's like out there, and we don't want this anymore.
Yeah, it's way better out there.
We want some freedom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then there's people that historically, older generations are telling the younger generation, like, yo, we had it like America is now. We had it here. And they took over, and now we don't have it anymore. And we want you guys to take it back.
For the MAGA people.
MAGA!
For the MAGA. Do they get a pass when their boy said he wasn't going to do war? And here we are in war.
He is not in war. He is in a military operation. There's a difference. Legally. So technically, he's not at war.
Oh, it's the media that's calling it war. It's us.
I mean, Venezuela wasn't at war.
See, so what I'm hearing from the left, from the other side, is like, oh, you're just defending your boy.
Is Iraq a war? No, it wasn't a war technically. The last war, you want to know what it was? World War II. Everything after that was not wars.
Yeah.
They were just military
The Cold War.
The Cold War. The what happened in Venezuela.
Cold War was a war, right? It was just cold.
I mean, yeah. I mean, but we weren't technically at war. We're just doing...
Listen,
You know?
So what is this called? The conflict?
I don't know. I think it's just called military operations, or we're helping Israel. We're backing. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we're at war. If we're at war, it's a...
Congress.
If we're at war, we're not making cars in America anymore. We're making tanks. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my
Whatever company you work for is going to not make that. They're going to make things for the government. We're at war. We're not at war. You know what I'm saying? When we're at war, the government takes over the entire country. It's like, all right, everybody makes things for them. We are at war. Like what happened in World War II.
Okay, that's extreme. Okay,
Yeah.
calm down.
Those are wars.
We have Mexicans for that. Okay. No, so but isn't it war when Congress declares it war?
Yeah.
Because they're like, okay, here's the money.
Yeah.
Go get them.
So, yeah. So, we're not at war.
We're not at war. Pues, entonces se jodió.
We just do military operations.
Should the
What's
president
our
go
target?
after the son of Hulamani? Huhimani?
I think he should.
Hihahame?
I think you should get rid of if the goal, if I'm in the perspective of I want them to be replaced, he should kill every single military leader there is, and then.
But wouldn't that in essence make it an endless war? Because now I got to kill your children's children. Make sure I go to the sperm bank and kill those little
you get to a
spermers.
point where it's like the military itself doesn't have leadership, and then you turn to the people and you go like, hey, look, you guys want to take over? Start taking over, and we'll help you in the process. We'll just drop bombs wherever you need bombs dropped, and you guys just start taking stuff over, and you guys do your own democracy.
I decided to buy a car right when the gas prices went up. Good job, Jose.
Yeah.
So I was asking this last week when I was in the lunchroom. Check it out, streaming live on Meet Me, soon on TikTok, you little suckers. I was asking, how long do you think the war's gonna last? What you think?
Me?
I mean, I'm sorry, the conflict. How long do you think this? What did you call it? Operations.
Military operation.
How long do you think it's gonna last?
I don't
We
know.
got what? 2 weeks? We're heading into 2 weeks.
Maybe another 8 weeks more. I want to say.
That's exactly what I said. I thought a solid 2 months.
About 2 months. I would say maybe even 3 if you push it. I think that's about it.
Okay, it's not
Because
gonna be-
we're not going in. I hope not. That we're not going to go in and try to establish a government ourselves. We're going to empower the people to do that.
Yeah,
themselves.
step up.
Yeah, you guys. This is your country. You guys do it. All we want is to work this oil deal out with you.
Yeah,
guys.
we want the gas.
That's all we care about. We all know that's what they care about.
Right, we care about the gas.
Let's act like it's not about the oil. It's about the oil.
Right, we are trying to drown out your boy,
Yeah,
China.
yeah. But that's like was the Civil War about slavery or was it about economics?
Was Civil War about slavery or was it about economic? You could kill two birds with
The
one
answer
stone.
is yes.
Right? Why is the answer yes?
Because it was about both. And whoever you're asking the question to is going to give you a different answer. But the reality of it is that we want the oil and we also want these people to be free. So yes, the answer is both. It's not.
Yeah.
It is the oil, yes.
Yeah, both.
And then somebody's like, it's about the freedom. Yes, it's about the freedom. It's really about both. Why can't it be both?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Why can't it be about freeing the Iranian people and making that gas money and starving out China?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. It's really less about us taking gas and more about freeing up and getting China off that oil.
That's crazy.
So that way, when next year when we do the World War III, which is my prediction,
Next year, when World War III
when
comes.
we do the World War III next year, China doesn't have the oil to fight this war. You know what I'm saying? Because they're gonna try to take Taiwan, and we're gonna have to fight back, and that's gonna cause a World War III.
You think Trump is trying to leave office with that kind of
With World War Three, yeah,
With World War Three under
he
his
won't
belt.
have to leave office, right? Because now he's a war president. He's locked in.
He's locked in. He suspends the elections,
There you go.
and that's how he becomes president for another 8 years.
There you go. You got it. See, he knows what he's doing.
Guys, ladies and gentlemen, we predicted it here.
Yep.
PBD, don't take our thing, little thief.
He took Venezuela, right, because of the oil, to control that region's oil, because Cuba's communist. So he's like, I want to choke them out, right, to take over this area. China can't get oil from here, Russia, whatever. Anybody.
Right, so we can lock down the
lock
Gulf
this
of
down.
America 100%.
Eventually, Cuba's going to be like, let's make a deal. We're dying over here.
Right, we need parts for these cars.
Yep. And then America's going to be like, well, if you want, let's make some deals here. Let's get this flowing. Maybe some freaking tourism.
So once he takes Cuba, he got Venezuela that chokes Cuba. Cuba surrenders and joins us, and then
It's not that Cuba joins us. It's just that they're not a threat.
Oof.
Because if, let's say, God forbid, we're in World War III, communist China, communist Russia are going to go to communist Cuba like, yo, we're one people. What are we doing here? Help us out. Remember the Cuban Missile Crisis? Let's do this again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Trump is like, we're going to get rid of that. We're going to get that chess piece off the board. We don't have to worry about that part.
Okay.
Cuba's gone. We got Venezuela under control with all their oil. Now let's go over the other source of oil, which is Iran. Saudi Arabia is already our boys. We don't got to worry about that oil. We got that locked down. Jordan's fighting with us. We got all these other countries with us that are like, all right, you know, at least in a world conflict, they'll be like, all right, we'd rather work with you.
So in the order of things, you got Cuba next. We have Venezuela during Iran while this is going on. Then Cuba.
Cuba's already
Then
fought.
Panama.
We want Panama. That's another thing. We have to lock that down.
We locked Panama. We kind of locked Greenland, right?
Greenland through negotiation and fear.
Right. We kind of said, go ahead, keep your freedom and your name and your title, but we really
we need military bases there.
We got what we wanted.
And then Trump said, we're not going to spend money on defending other countries. They need to kick in their funds.
Pay your dues.
Because of course he's planning for World War III.
That should have been.
So he's like, we need to hold.
We
need our money here. You guys defend your territories, and then I think Canada was like, we got to increase our military budget to protect our the Arctic side of there.
Yeah. We got a gaping hole in our defenses over here.
So Canada's like, Canada is gonna protect their their north from Russia, because that's their threat.
Right. It's funny because our defense walls are in other countries.
Yeah, ours. Yeah,
our wall of protection is
distance.
It's other places. It's not like, here.
You gotta shoot to get to us. You gotta come over Canada. We're gonna see it come. We're gonna blow it up over.
You gotta go over Canada.
Those pieces are gonna fall on Canada,
which is kind of dope. Because I was thinking about it when you saw the missiles that Iran was sending to everybody. Now we know how they act if they had nuclear weapons. Yeah, right. I'm going to heaven. 7 versions, 15 versions. How many is it?
40. Let's get it together.
Sorry.
And every time you use one, it becomes a virgin all over again. You're good. Always a virgin.
A recycled version or a new one?
Just the way God intended, yo. I mean, if you're going to make up a religion, right?
What would it be?
That's what I'm saying. If I wasn't Christian, I would never be an atheist. I would just be a Muslim.
Atheist is like, you just give up.
We just give up. You have so many benefits over here. You might as well grab that one.
Right, word.
I don't believe anything anyway. I might as well be a Muslim.
This actually makes a lot of sense.
It makes more sense.
But we can't trade now.
You just want to be like, you want to freaking feel a certain way, so I want to be an atheist. I'm smarter than everybody else. I'd rather be a Muslim.
So
there's way more benefits to that.
It really is. So we know how they'll act if they had nuclear weapons, right? Because when the thing hits the fan, what you basically have is, you don't know how you act until you're put into the situation. Now we know how they would act. But that's exactly how we would act too if it came down to it.
We would just nuke everybody.
We're not going to surrender.
No, of course not.
I've had this conversation with people when this whole Iran thing popped off, and I'm like, there's no such thing as us surrendering, right? And the
world is over.
That's what I was trying to explain to them. And I was like, okay, if you're Mother Russia and you're Putin and I'm Mother Trump, the chicken nugget, right? Let's play the scenario out. What do we benefit if we shoot that bullet? If we nuke each other, we're not going to be able to have the kids and drink their blood for youth. Yeah. We're not going to have slaves. We're not going to have, our undercover trafficking.
You think a white country and another white country are going to obliterate each other and let the Browns take over? We see what the countries are like. They don't have working electricity. Come on, man. All the white people, all the white countries look at each other like, we're not going to let them take over, right?
Right. So, in other words, there's no sense in mutual destruction. But if we're going to go there,
we're going to go there.
It's over.
It's over, yeah.
I'm not surrendering.
There's no other flags going to fly in America.
Nah.
The only thing that's going to fly over America are roaches, because it's the only thing that's going to be left behind.
Right. And they're not flying. They're, well, some of them, the water bugs. Maldita sea, coño. That's the only scenario. So when people are like the fear mongering of this is the World War III, this is the end of it, blah 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 blah. I'm like, there's no benefit in the end.
Yeah.
No one benefits at the end. Maybe the Alaskans and the Antarcticans, but like the 5 people that live
Santa
there.
Claus.
The elves. That's all that's
only going to be left behind.
There's no, and when I bring that argument, it's the conversation like dies off. Their brain, I can see their brain processing.
They're like, oh shoot, he's right. Yeah.
Oh crap.
America.
So what is the end game?
America has enough nukes to obliterate the entire planet.
Right. And that's what's gonna happen. Don't get it twisted. If it came down to that, we would act exactly like Iran did. We're dying. Everyone's
dying. Yeah. And Russia would do the same thing. And China would do the same thing.
You would do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I watched a video, and I don't even know if it's a real video or if it's AI, where Iran.
That's another problem.
Iran launched a hypersonic missile at like a Jewish synagogue.
Okay.
You seen that video? And I watched the video, and I'm like, why would Iran waste a hypersonic missile on a synagogue when just past the synagogue is a freaking aircraft carrier?
The thing that could hit you back.
Yeah, knock that thing out.
I don't know, and it's like, again, talking to individuals when it comes to what their thoughts are, where we are, I could see the propaganda in their faces. And you send each other videos and clips of stuff that you see, and I instantly get the reply, "This is AI," and I'm like, hold on. When you see a video, you don't run it through AI to make sure it's real? Do you?
Me?
Yeah.
No, you can kind of tell right away, for the most part.
But if you question it,
if I question it, I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or it's not important enough.
Are you gonna blindly believe that it's AI?
Like if I see a dog delivering food to a freaking
that's real.
like a waiter, I'm not gonna be like, should I run this through the system to make sure this is real? I kind of know.
I check that especially now because those could be aliens. No, exactly. If it's questionable, I'm going to be like, let me see if did this person really say this? All they did, it was taken out of context. Oh, regular stuff. Got it.
You want to see what the hypersonic missile looks like?
Wait, so this is the one that they shot at the synagogue?
Allegedly.
But this is not AI. You ran it through AI?
I did not run it through AI.
See?
So here comes the lies.
Here comes the lies, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead. Oh my God, that's loud. Hell no, nigga.
That's the fastest thing in the universe. That was crazy, bro. It didn't even sound like it was just the air.
You know those firecrackers, the little ones?
That's what it sounded like.
The whistle ones? That's exactly that. That's why I question whether it's real. Because honestly, the sound effect. Play it again. I want to hear it again. But don't let it drag. Go halfway through it.
It's fast. It's only a couple seconds.
The sound was late.
The
sound was late.
Yeah, because it goes faster than sound.
The sound was catching up to it.
And then look, the dust that is behind it. It even goes past where it landed because the wind is still blowing past it.
Wow. You know what this tells me? If we do go to if we do go to World War III, like the end, it'll be quick.
It'll be happening, right away.
Oh, it'll be like
done.
Because I'm worried about feeling the pain.
No, we're not gonna feel it. We're gonna die right away.
That's gonna be instant. Like instant. Like you're not even gonna have time to reflect.
Yeah. The only people that are gonna be alive
we're reflecting now
are old people in bunkers, like the
rich,
Congress,
the elites.
And they're these people
and they're screwed.
And that whatever humanity comes out after them reproducing is gonna be poison in the well. These old people can't have kids. You know what I'm saying? These rich people are crazy. They can't handle living in the wilderness.
Yeah, where are my slaves?
Yeah, where are they at? You know? So.
All right, so we got 8 weeks left till the military operation.
But
And
an interesting thing. All right, just go back to the end of the world, right? Supposedly. And again, this isn't even verified yet because I tried looking it up during the break when we just recorded. That to find out was this real or was it not real. Supposedly a letter went out to military members encouraging them for this war. No, this military action.
yeah, you better stop.
And, encouraging them, saying, hey, this is a war for Armageddon. The Bible talks about the war in the Middle East. It's going to bring the apocalypse.
Who are is that the Christians talking?
Yeah, basically. The supposedly it was the Pete Hector.
Yes.
Supposedly it was him that wrote this letter.
And this is the guy that leaked messages on Telegram, right? Telegraph?
I don't know. What leaked messages about what?
Oh, an operation?
Oh,
remember that?
Yes.
That guy. Idiot.
So, supposedly, he sent this letter out to the military encouraging them, like, we're going to bring the apocalypse. Jesus is coming, da-da-da. Again, we don't know if this is real because only one military member went to a news agency. Only one news agency ever heard of it. And they reported to other people, and then it became a telephone game. And all of a sudden, now it's true. Because everybody's talking about it. Meanwhile, it was only really one person that said something, that information spread through them. But supposedly this is real. I don't know. I don't know how real this is. And I was reading it. I'm like, is this like a self-fulfilling prophecy? Meaning like, we believe the Bible says that world is going to end if we fight over here.
There.
So we're going to fight over here on purpose. We're going to force that to happen because we want the world ended. We want Jesus to come. You know what I mean?
That's so. I had this argument with someone we know, and I was like, "So you're looking for it?"
Yeah, like they're forcing it to happen. They want it.
They want it.
And to me, I'm like, if it happens, it happens. What are you doing? Let it happen. If this is how
we got time, don't rush it.
If this is the way it's supposed to be, let it just happen.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But if you're forcing it, what's the difference?
Because I want to meet Jesus already.
What's the difference between that and the Allahumma Akbar blowing themselves up?
What's the difference between that perspective of wanting the end times to come to see Jesus because you're saved versus Ulam Akbar trying to blow up things because they're trying to get their 40 virgins?
Yeah, exactly. What's the difference?
Oh, so we're the same.
We're the same, but different. Same.
But different.
So when I see that apocalypse things, I'm like, and then you talk to a third party, a person, and they're watching it. They're like, see, I told you the apocalypse was going to happen like this because look, it's already happening. And I'm like, they're making it happen because they believe what you believe. You know what I'm saying? So of course it looks like it's happening because they're forcing it. They're making it happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're writing letters to each other like, okay, this is it, guys. You guys ready? And then people that believe inside are like, oh yeah, okay, we're going to do it. Wow, this is it. God's using me today.
Let me sell all my gold.
Yeah, exactly. And then let the gold prices go down so I can buy it. So when the world doesn't end.
Yeah, sell your gold, guys.
Sell your gold if you believe it. If you actually believe in this, sell your gold.
And this
is your test of your faith.
Send us an email when you do so we know.
Sell it to us.
Sell it to us. No, it'll be too high.
Money's not real anymore. Remember that guy, Harold Camping?
Yeah.
Okay. So his followers believed it.
He believed it.
100%.
Was it 12th? It was the 12th or something.
Something.
Right?
March 12th or something crazy.
Something
like
crazy.
September 12th.
I was in Battery Park. Go ahead.
I remember they will walk. They had signs. The end is near. This is the date. They were giving out pamphlets. I remember taking a pamphlet, reading, like, "Wow, this is crazy. People actually believe that it's gonna happen. It's nuts." And the day of, I was kind of like, "Okay, it's gonna happen."
Right. You're like,
wait a minute, maybe right. But obviously nothing happened, right? But there were people, and I specifically remember this couple. They had a house on the east coast of America.
Yeah.
They sold everything. They bought a camper van. They drove across to fly to California. To drive to California, like a road trip. They spent all their money on the road trip. They got there, they had like no money because they were like, what we need money for?
The most expensive road trip
ever, yeah.
Ever for them.
They spent a whole house worth of money. They got there, nothing happened, and the news, they're talking to the news, and they're like, we have nothing left. We have nothing to go to. I quit my job. Took my kids out of school. I spent all of our money. We don't even have money for food tomorrow.
gas to get back.
Yeah,
there's no going back.
All we have is this camper van that that's all we have, and eventually the payments are up, and we got to give it back.
You think they still? My bad. You think they still believe in God after that? You think they lost faith?
I know, probably, right? Because why would I believe in God? Look what he did.
Look what he did to me.
Because they associate the preacher with God for some reason.
Right.
This man is God. He gave God word.
God sent this man, you mean?
And then Harold Camping was like, they interviewed him. Remember? I don't know if you remember. He was like, well, I think my dates were wrong. And he changed the date. Those people must be like, oh, thank God. Okay, it's coming in a week. Nope. He didn't come.
And then he disappeared.
You think they're watching the news like, oh, it's going to come this time, finally.
You know what's crazy about that? You think that his life was in danger after that?
Hell yeah.
Oh my
Some people must be like, I'm killing this guy.
Hell yeah. I lost everything? I'm definitely going to hell now.
Yeah. But what would you do? Take a... I mean, if
I didn't get my ticket to heaven, I'm getting my ticket to hell. Because I'm getting him.
Let's say
that's horrible.
Let's say the news said, hey, there's a freaking meteor. We cannot stop it. It's going to hit the earth in, I don't know, a year. This is the date. It's going to hit. There's nothing we can do. All our calculations, no matter how many nukes we shoot, it's not stopping it. You don't think people are going to be like, all right, well, I'm quitting my job. I'm liquidating my retirement. I'm taking all my money out. I'm just going to have a blast for a year.
Is that what you would do?
Yeah, why not? You're dead anyway. Well, you're like, let me save my money in the freaking thing just in case.
Okay, so first of all, I would have to believe it. That's my first problem. My first problem is I have to actually believe. And nowadays, I don't believe nothing.
No, but if all the news agencies say it,
no,
scientists come out and say it, still,
nope. Especially with AI.
You're the person that's going to keep the world going until the end.
I'm the survivor?
Yeah, not the survivor. Like, we still need toilet paper delivered and freaking restaurant. Like, we still need things happening even if the world's going to end.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Who cares?
You're going to be like, the world's not going to end, guys.
Yeah, it's not.
That's
you guys
a fake meteor.
Yeah, I can't. It's getting...
We would see it come from the sun eventually because it still takes time for the sun to hit us.
Right, and by that time, I'm not going to the bank. I'm just going to chill. I'm going to make some steak. I'm going to go hang out and watch it. You know what I mean? Enjoy the view.
I'm going to Puerto Rico. And watch from the beach.
You're going to suffer there. Why would you go to Puerto Rico and suffer?
How am I going to suffer?
Because all the Ricans are going to steal from you and rob your shit.
They can take whatever they want. I'm just going to lay on the beach and watch. What are they going to do with the world's going to end?
Are you going to be naked? I would be naked.
Why not? Screw it.
Screw it.
I might even swim out far into the water as far as I could go.
Oh, no, I'm not doing that. That's a slow death.
Then I survived by accident because the water protected me. I didn't burn. You know what I'm saying? I just wake up on the beach naked like, oh my God, I lived.
Nah, I'm not doing anything. Listen, as we progress with these sophisticated large language models, I'm coming to realize is that we're going to have less and less faith in each other and things are just going to run amok. That's the real war. That's my prediction. Yeah. That's where the real end comes, where you just don't believe anything anymore. I mean, it's happening now.
Yeah,
it's happening right now.
Even during the war, like I think a school got bombed.
The girls, everyone's like, yep,
everybody's like, it's America, it was Iraq.
They bombed themselves.
Yeah, it was a bunch of different ideas. Nobody knows.
No one knows.
We may never know.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? Unless the only person targeting it knows. He's like, that was me.
That was me. He's like hiding his Xbox controller.
I was watching a video where the guy was explaining that the military base is there. And he goes, what happens is Iran at that time still had defense. So they were shooting rockets or missiles to catch trying to catch our missiles.
Right.
But our missiles are just faster.
Right.
So their counter missiles are slower than ours. So we get past them. They turn around the other way and try to follow us. We hit the military base, but their missile's still following us to the military base and then loses target. So it goes astray and it hit the school. So, yes, it was them, but not on purpose. They were trying to stop our missile.
And maybe it was them. So they could say it was us.
Yeah, exactly.
And get that pity party. Ching.
And it worked because people love it.
People are losing their minds.
People are looking for any reason to go against Trump.
Anything. So, I mean, he did lie. He went to war.
He didn't go to war.
Right. We had this discussion.
Yeah.
But that's not the way they're playing it, right?
Even Venezuela was, they call it police enforcement.
Right. That Biden put out.
That's right.
Your boy put that warrant out.
Thing. They did police enforcement.
I was just the guy that made it happen.
Just guy with the balls.
I didn't order it.
Yeah. I got the balls. He didn't have the balls.
That's okay. So Yeah, again, with the...
And Venezuela, I haven't heard anything bad about Venezuela. Have you?
They're chilling right now.
They're chilling right now. Yeah.
Chilling. Not a peep.
Yeah.
They're
I haven't heard
making...
not one thing. In fact, their baseball team is doing fantastic.
Really?
Yeah. The baseball team is moved up in the next in the semifinals.
Wow. Yeah, no, I haven't heard anything. They're making their money.
Chilling.
Quiet.
Yep. All this complaint that we're going to steal this and steal that. And they're like, no, we're good.
Yeah, we don't need anything.
And then
what upsets me is the perception of things when it comes to gas, right? Like, Iran is the only one with gas, apparently.
Yeah.
Iran runs our gas.
America's one of the highest producers of gas in the world.
Next to Venezuela.
Yeah. And then not only that, we also have Venezuela we could tap into now.
And I got to pay 45 cents, 75 cents more now?
Yeah, well, that's the market.
The
market is global, so whatever. If it goes up over there, it goes up everywhere. You could do it.
What's the result? Sorry about the long pause. Sorry about that. What do you think is so 8 weeks the operation is over.
I'm hoping so. Yeah.
What's the result? Who takes over Iran? Is it the same?
The hope is that the people,
the whole regime, they're still there. What are they called?
What, the Iranians?
No, the Ayatollah.
The Ayatollah.
That's them.
Yeah.
Right. Them.
So he's gone. Hopefully. Right. But this is a problem. Right. This is a whole nother layer
of
what's happening. Is that Islam kind of has a situation like the Catholics and the Christians, where they're kind of the same but different.
Catholics are the same but they're different. Okay, right.
So they have your
Catholic Christian denomination,
your Shiites and your Sunnis or whatever.
Right.
Like that.
Okay.
So one of them is like Catholics. The other ones are kind of like Christians. One of them is like jihad. You know, I remember they were talking about jihad back in the.
Those are the cutting the heads niggas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had jihad. Remember they were explaining. Oh, it's jihad is an internal struggle with your faith, right? But then you had other people like, no, jihad's a war. We have to kill people. That thought separation of those two different ideas of
so
Islam.
now you just made one into two.
Yeah.
Got it.
So that's why during the first war in Iraq and Afghanistan, on the news you saw like this debate. What does jihad mean? And some people sounded peaceful, like, oh, that sounds nice. But then other people are like, no, we're cutting their heads off.
Yeah.
Okay, it's because of two different mentalities.
Jihad does not sound nice. But go ahead.
So the Ayatollah is in charge of the people with the cutting off the heads. Thought. Right? The rest of the Muslims of the world, supposedly, it's an internal struggle. And that's why a lot of these Muslim countries, like, we're chilling. Like Dubai and them, they're chilling. They're good. We're peaceful.
It.
We're not blowing anything up.
Nope. They're with Benz in the desert.
Jordan is chilling. These other countries and, whatever, they're all chilling.
Right.
So this I think is Sunni. I can't remember if it's Sunni or the other one.
If we didn't, we apologize.
Sorry. So that group looks at the Ayatollah, no matter where they are in the world, as the leader of their faith. That's their pope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when we kill them, they imagine what the Catholics would do if somebody killed the pope. You know what I'm saying? So in their head, they're like, they're destroying our faith. Right. We have to fight. And that's why they attacked. I don't know if you remember, in Pakistan, they attacked the U.S. Embassy.
Yeah.
That week. So things like that are going to happen around the world now, if you have that kind of mentality of that faith. So that's another layer. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we looked at Iran and said they're the number one financing of terrorism. Because they would give money to these groups around the world. Did you hear David Smith on that notion? No.
That they're not, and that's propaganda?
That they're not what?
The founders of terrorism.
That's not true.
He literally went off, and supposedly he went off. He was on Piers Morgan.
We know that's not true because we know that we have financial records
of them funding
thing. And not to say nobody else funds them. Israel also funds them too.
Yeah.
Specifically, Hamas. Because they use it, just like the Iran bombed the school to help fight this war. They fund Hamas to be like, oh, now we can fight them now because they're blowing things up. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's almost like a trick. We give them a couple $, let them blow up a school.
We hit them off.
Yeah. We give them a couple $, they'll blow up a school, and now we have a reason to go into that area and take it over. Because they're terrorists there, guys. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but that's specifically Hamas, though, specifically. And I think, it's just really Hamas. But then Iran funds Hamas. They fund, I forgot the name of the one that's in Africa. The Brotherhood of something or other. But.
Okay.
But. So that's a whole nother layer. It's like a religious layer on top of that. So does that mean that there's going to be more terrorist activity because of this? I don't know. I haven't seen anything much about that. Other than I think somebody shot up a club or something like that recently. Right? He wore a shirt that said...
that was in...
Allah, property of Allah, remember?
Yeah, that was in Texas?
I think so, yeah. So you're going to have... but that's anywhere. You're going to have your crazies. You're going to have your crazy people that say, oh, somebody says the apocalypse is coming. They're going to sell everything and they're going to take that road trip to California.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're always going to have those crazies. You know what I mean? Every religion, every people, you're always going to have your crazies. You know? Some people call them conspiracy theorists.
Some people refer them to us. Wait, so... do you think after this operation, do you think that Iran goes back to a democratic, the people run the show?
Well, yeah. Yes and no. I don't think they don't have to be democratic for the people to run the show. They can elect a king and be happy with that, like they used to have.
Elect a king.
You know, they used to have a king and they were fine with that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Remember the prince lives over here somewhere. Well, he's the king technically now.
Oh,
if he was the king.
He does.
What I'm saying, if that's what they want, then let them have that. You know, so that's my same thought with Puerto Rico. If Puerto Rico wants to be freaking socialist, let them be socialist. That's what they want to do. You know, if they want to be independent and be communist, let them be communist. If that's what they really want to do. Let the people decide. Why are we forcing the way we think because we're in a different country? We don't like the way that feels, so we're going to say, no, you can't do that. We tried that with Iraq. It didn't work with that.
Yeah.
We tried to do democracy over there. It didn't work with them.
Right.
Because that's not what they want.
So you can't force democracy on them. That's also saying you can't subtract this jihad or this... you can't take away this lifestyle that they want to live either.
That's what I'm saying. There's two different the people like I remember they're like locked into this way of thinking.
Two different factions.
But then you have the others that are like, no, we're not Iranian. We're Persian.
Right.
The Muslim took over. We're not
became
Muslims.
Iran.
Yeah, we're not Muslims. That's not what our history is.
But are there enough of those versus the Muslims?
I don't know. That's up to the country to decide. They may say, all right, you got Ayatollah, that's fine. We're still going to remain a Muslim country.
There's always, right, in my opinion, there's always a cause and there's always a reaction, right? There's an effect and then there's the reaction to an effect, right? You do something, there's a result that comes out of it. There's consequences, whatever word you want to use after it, cause and effect, right? And to me, there's if because we're not trying to establish their government, we're not trying to replace a regime, we're just effing them up so that they're not a threat to the world, right?
Yeah.
Allegedly, and we're getting that gas.
Nobody's getting that gas right now.
No, right now that gas is on pause. Yeah. True, but eventually there's no way, in my opinion, that 10 years from now, 3 years from now, that we don't have repercussions of people acting up, groups acting up and retaliating for what we're doing here today.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So we may win this. We will win this battle. Let's be real. Right?
Yeah,
this is a done deal. I mean, however long it takes is irrelevant. That we're gonna put the papaos on them, but there's no way that those children, those kids, those teenagers, those adults, right now that are losing family members and all those little girls that died, their brothers, their nephews, their aunts. There's no way that they're just gonna sit on that. I mean. How do you not have this rage towards whoever is responsible, whether that's their own government or the U.S. or Israel? It's like that hatred that gets passed down, through generation to generation. So to me, it's like it is a never-ending. I don't want to say war, but it's like now I'm looking at the world from the perspective of you got your Christian, you got your Jew, and you got your Muslim, and right now. Two of those are fighting head to head, and there's one in the middle trying to play neutral.
Yeah.
Right?
But also, I'm thinking about World War II. It's not like people were like, F Germany or F Japan, everything they did to us. They're kind of just like, all right, war's over. Family members died. You know, it's just the way war is, and everybody kind of got over it, and we rebuilt the world.
Why did it get over it? Why do you think they got over it?
Because the war was over. Thank God it's
but
over.
what about? But who won? Right?
Yeah, we did.
We did.
The good guys.
The narrators.
We're the good guys.
We're
always the good guys.
So the Germans, Japan, they're good with us. They sat with the loss. They took the L. Iran is not going to take the L.
But Iran is what? That's the problem.
That's the problem. They don't. Their identity is.
What is it? I don't know.
It's not Persian.
I mean, the people call themselves Persians.
That doesn't matter what they call themselves.
Yeah. They identify as that.
Not the government.
And if they take over, not the government right now.
Right now.
But if the people take over, they may they may call themselves Persia. They may change the whole name of the country.
First of all, that'd
be fire.
That would be.
People might even move back over there. Like, oh my God, my country's back.
My country's back. Let me support.
Let me go back and support. Yeah.
Well, let's see what happens.
Let me go help rebuild. Remember, they come here, they get an American education.
You send those dollars over there.
They got money. Yeah, they're like, what better to do than to take my American education and help build my country?
Rebuild.
And I'm not building Iran. I'm rebuilding Persia. The Persian Empire is back.
That's wild. First of all, that's like a movie.
And then that's the apocalypse right there.
All right. Well, what do you guys think? You know, it's a popular topic. Every day there's something that's popping off. I think we could all agree it's not going to be dragged out. Maybe it is.
I hope not.
Maybe it is.
I hope they learned the lessons from Iraq. Like, we cannot force. Just let them be who they want to be.
Yeah, that's why he's like, people do something.
Try to get rid of
this is your chance.
As much bad guys as possible, as much weapons as possible, and just let the people see what they want to do.
Well, that's it. Iran.
Persia.
We out of here.
Peace.
Peace.